Online, Rockstar Games is looking to bring the heart of the Grand Theft Auto experience. Grand Theft Auto experience. Grand Theft Auto experience.
If you come to this game expecting a Grand Theft Auto experience, you're gonna be disappointed. It's not really an open world crime game. It's more like Battlefield, designed by a 6-year-old. That's not to say Battlefield designed by a 6-year-old isn't fun. There's a certain charm to it, right? It's not classic Grand Theft Auto, but it still has its place. See, GTA Online is GTA with cheat codes. You got flying cars, jetpacks, explosive bullets, laser guns. Now, if you're a loser like me, chances are you've kind of tricked yourself into enjoying the chaos, right? I mean, I'd be lying if I said I didn't have fun with Freemode. Just look at this guy. He was flying around the session, just farming everyone with his Hydra, and eventually he crashes because he's good, and you know, I whip out the RC Bandito, and of course he's the type of player that is so terrified of dying he just keeps killing himself over and over and over. You know, he may be practically unkillable, but that just means you get the ultimate dose of dopamine if you pull it off. But the majority of players don't want this fucking nonsense. They just want Grand Theft Auto, man. Just look at 5M. There's more hype around this Second Life RP bullshit than the actual game.
You need to fix your outfit. You can't have those shoes.
Oh my god, this is my default look, you fucking dumbass. Fuck
no,
you.
Stop! He's an admin, stop!
Also, I didn't want to bring this up, but just look at what's happening in the game right now. I mean, it's a stupid meme that'll be dead in a month, but it's still nice to see people go back to basics. They've spent years just haphazardly piling DLC after DLC onto Freemode until now it's just this fucking, just a horrible Frankenstein's monster. Just screaming in agony. Pandora's box has been opened. You can't just shove those demons back in. So the only way for Rockstar to deliver the Grand Theft Auto experience everyone is craving is to start fresh. A whole new free mode. Not to replace the current free mode, but to be its alternative. An alternative for people who would rather be chased by a helicopter than a flying car. Most of you probably already know I'm talking about the Cops N Crooks DLC. Now, this hasn't been officially confirmed to be in development, but a lot of people seem to think this is what's next for GTA. And if Rockstar does actually go and make this DLC, and they do it right, they will save the soul of Grand Theft Auto. Like GTA Jesus. But if they botch it, then it'll just be another DLC people play for a week and forget about. I have several ideas of how they can make this free mode fun. Obviously, I'm no game developer, these are only ideas, I'm just spitballing here, but I like to think I've spent enough time in this game to give my thoughts on how to improve it. So, if you'd like to join me, take a seat by the fire and listen to me ramble about stupid shit. That does not matter at all.
This video was written and recorded before George Floyd was murdered by a poorly trained police officer. Releasing a police-themed DLC right now, amidst all of this, would be distasteful. If this is in fact the DLC that Rockstar has been working on, it's safe to assume it will be delayed. Obviously, there are much more important issues in the world than this shitty game. But I'm glad you decided to spend some of your time here and listen to me talk about this stupid shit. Just please do not forget about what's important. Back to the video. Hit it, Johnny. Idea 1, total separation.
Both sides need separate progression. Different weapons, gadgets, abilities, vehicles, currency, and leveling. Playing as a cop should not feel like you're just a fucking criminal going to Party City.
Idea 2, the radar.
As a criminal, you don't want the cops to have a constant fix on your location. Kind of ruins the point. And that goes the same for cops. Criminals will just avoid your blip on the map like a fucking Pac-Man ghost. So here's how the radar should work. As a cop, you see other cops, and as a criminal, you see other criminals, but you are invisible to each other, except if you get a wanted level. If you get stars, every cop player on the map will know you're up to no good, but you would only be on their radar when you have a wanted level. If they lose sight of you, all they have to go off of is your last known location. Cop players could work together and have teammates in helicopters searching the area. And as a criminal, you would have a real incentive to be smart so you don't attract police attention. Maybe if you want to be an asshole, you can call the cops on rival criminals. And then you got cops snooping around the area looking for the guy. Stealth will now have an actual purpose, because if you screw up, you won't just get some annoying 2-star you can call Lester for. You'll have real, living, breathing players gunning for your ass. But in order for this to work, cop players need to be perceived as a real threat and not some minor annoyance. So,
Idea 3, safe houses.
when I get cops in Freemode, it barely even registers. Most missions won't even give a game over if the cops kill you, so it's hard to take them seriously. So let's say you just completed a mission and earned a respectable 17k. That 17k is now cash on hand. You can spend it on anything. Cars, weapons, clothes. But if you get busted with 17k stuffed in your pockets, the cops take it. All of it. Unless you bank it at a safe house. Now these safe houses would be purchasable properties, kind of like the MC clubhouses. The really good locations would be expensive, and the ones out in the sticks would be dirt cheap. Now once the money is banked at a safe house, the cops can't touch it. They'll only seize cash on hand. But I can hear some of you saying,
"Oh god, now I have to drive to a safe house after every mission. That's just more tedious, pointless bullshit."
That's a fair point, which brings us to
Idea 4, the multiplier.
So, back to the previous scenario. You just finished a mission and have 17k cash on hand. The next mission you do will earn you 19k. And the one after that earns you 21k. Every mission you complete without banking your cash will add to a multiplier. But if you bank your cash, the multiplier resets. So this brings a much better risk versus reward element to the game. Do you make money faster but risk getting busted and losing it all? Or do you play it safe and bank your cash every time? These last couple ideas may sound a little familiar if you've played Need for Speed Rivals. Its entire multiplayer was centered around cops versus racers, and it was actually pretty fun. The only problem is it was an E-rated racing game made by EA, so it was ultimately too shallow and simplistic to keep people interested. But if you take this style of gameplay and throw it into Grand Theft Auto, well, you might just have the greatest thing ever made by a man.
Idea 5, fun chases.
Cop chases need to be fun and strategic. I know Rockstar isn't known for their depthful multiplayer gameplay, but if this game tells cop players to just run into other players until their car explodes, you're not a hardened criminal on the run. You're playing bumper cars at the world's shittiest Bullwinkle. So here's how I would add a layer of depth to cop chases. The criminals would have access to gadgets like police scanners. Maybe your controller shakes when cop players are nearby, so you know to be a good little boy. Maybe cops get access to arena war mines. I mean, they're almost useless in current Freemode, but in a cop chase, they'd have some actual use. Honestly, I could sit here all day and spout ideas, but as long as cop chases have enough depth to be replayable, I'll be happy. Now, this doesn't mean I want some hyper-realistic crime sim with the depth of the Grand Canyon. GTA is meant to be dumb, casual fun, which it should be. But the gameplay should not be overly simplistic to the point where cop chases become a boring routine. You need depth, at least enough to keep everyone engaged and coming back for more. They could even add another layer of depth by adding
Idea 6, better progression.
A new Freemode would give Rockstar the opportunity to add a whole new progression system. Kind of like what they did with Arena War. Except maybe this time they don't fuck it up. Each faction could have a separate skill tree that you spec into as you progress. Maybe when you level up your criminal, you get a choice between a 5% faster reload or an extra grenade space in your inventory. Maybe at the higher levels you can unlock abilities, like going off the radar for a minute. Or maybe the ability to steal other players' cars. Maybe if their car's locked, you have to complete this little mini game to unlock their car, and you know, you have to fucking frantically try to figure it out while they're shopping in ammunition. The ability to steal someone else's car in Grand Theft Auto. Imagine that. The cops can unlock abilities like calling in an NPC chopper to act as a kind of UAV to spot criminal players. A new progression system would allow Rockstar to implement whole new game mechanics that we've never seen before, while simultaneously giving players a way to kind of create a build that's unique to their playstyle. They could also add some new unlockable cosmetics like car stealing animations, weapon skins, and special liveries. Having sought after cosmetics in your game is a better alternative to what we have now.
Idea 7, no pay to win.
It's depressing that I even have to make this point, so I'll be quick. There is no combination of words in existence that could convince Rockstar to stop using shark cards, but if you can just skip the progression system and buy your way to the top, it's gonna ruin the experience. If you have to have microtransactions in the game, make them for cosmetics only. Just make it like, just make it like a real game.
Idea 8, no stupid fucking paywall.
Obviously, every DLC is designed to bring in new players and make more money, but in order to keep up this free DLC model, they've put up these paywalls in the hopes you'll give them money to play the game you bought with your money. This new free mode can't have any of that shit, alright? It needs to be accessible to both new and returning players. You shouldn't have to buy a fucking police precinct just to play as a cop or a crack den to play as a criminal. There should be selectable choices right out of the loading screen. No one wants to choose between grinding 10 hours or shelling out $20 just to play the fucking thing.
Idea 9, less is more.
This next idea is probably going to be the most controversial. See, part of the charm of Grand Theft Auto has always been the ability to carry the munitions of 10 African warlords in your pocket. I mean, it makes for an incredible single-player experience and a great stress reliever, but in a multiplayer setting, not so much. A cops versus robbers mode can't have more explosive spam than Operation Metro. Explosives should still be in the game, just dialed back. Maybe you can only carry 2 rockets at a time, like in Battlefield 3. God, imagine GTA logic in Battlefield. Maybe you actually have to go to ammunition to buy rockets instead of having an endless supply up your ass. Maybe you can spec into a demolition build to carry more rockets. I know this directly contradicts the idea of bringing back the classic Grand Theft Auto experience, but I mean, in order to have a fun, balanced multiplayer game, you have to make some sacrifices. And this is something Rockstar clearly does not understand, because I'm wasting my fucking life with this shit.
Idea 10, dumb fun shit.
Even though I want a more grounded experience, I still want it to be a fun video game. It should feel like an over-the-top action movie. The only problem is the current free mode isn't over the top. It's past the fucking moon. Give the cops supercars, give the criminals flamethrowers, have fun with it. If I can't use a drone to tase criminals, I'll be thoroughly salted. This entire video was essentially just me sitting here with a can of beer in my hand, spouting off half-baked ideas. I can already see the guy in the comments surgically dissecting every idea and explaining why it wouldn't work. At the end of the day, I'm just some asshole who plays video games and makes semi-entertaining videos. The people at Rockstar are far more intelligent and qualified for coming up with new game modes. I mean, this new free mode doesn't have to have all of this to be a good DLC. I'll be happy with it as long as it's balanced, fun, and remotely resembles a Grand Theft Auto game. GTA's current free mode is about as balanced as Dwight Schrute on a tightrope. There is no rock, paper, scissors dynamic. Flying bikes beat everything. most of the time. There are dozens of vehicles that everyone considers to be useless based solely on the fact that they can't take more than one rocket. You almost never see them in free mode, but they'd be perfect for cops and robbers. They need to allow players the freedom to choose what kind of vehicle fits their playstyle. You shouldn't be just forced to pick one dominant vehicle over everything else, because if you don't use that, you suck dick. That's how it works. That's how they make their money. They make one good vehicle and you have to buy it or else you suck. When everyone uses the same shit, the game becomes stale and repetitive. But if you sweep away the mounds of rotting flesh and you peek under the floorboards, you might find the perfect game. And every so often it shines through the cracks and you get a glimpse at perfection. It doesn't last long though. All the painstaking detail that went into faithfully recreating Los Angeles, it's nothing short of incredible, and you can tell they put so much time and care into it.
The Grand Theft Auto series has always set the bar when it comes to open world games. Rockstar are masters of their craft. Every game they make has an absurd amount of attention to detail. Seriously. Just take a second to look at Grand Theft Auto 5.
It might just be one of the best open world maps ever created, and it's just being wasted on this just embarrassing fucking mess. Now, obviously, this game doesn't need saving. It's at an all-time high player count-wise, and it's, massively successful. Rockstar doesn't need to save this game's relevance. They need to save its soul. I'm sorry if this video was too long, but I got tired of just sitting here complaining about this game and wanted to give my 2 cents on how to fix it. Also, thank you to everyone who left a tip this month. I didn't think there would be this many people that would throw their money at a shitty Grand Theft Auto channel, but I was saying I was pleasantly surprised is an understatement. Some of you left me some messages in the notes, and reading them just put a fat smile on my face. It's an incredible feeling knowing that my videos have the power to make someone's shitty day just slightly less shitty. Also, if you leave a tip but don't want to leave your real name, make sure to use the notes to tell me what your username is, and I'll put that up there instead.
This month's top tipper was Vandata. Thank you for going above and beyond the threshold of responsible personal finance. Unfortunately, I can't play with you as I'm an Xbox troglodyte born and raised. But I'm glad you enjoy my videos and I hope this one was worth the wait. Also, thank you to Nightshade Beats for creating the song you are listening to right now. He made this song specifically for me. It's my song and you can't have it. Please check out his Instagram.
And lastly, I want to thank you. If you've watched this far, you're one of the devoted ones, and I appreciate you. The next video will be Meet the Pilots, so stay tuned for that. Thank you all for watching, and have an amazing day.